The millionaire widower's twins feared the new black nanny. Until she proved them all wrong. Late at night, in a mansion filled with silence, two children trembled under their blankets. They weren't afraid of the dark. They were afraid of her. She had only been working there for 3 days, but whispers about her skin, her past, and her strange ways had already spread through the house. The millionaire father, desperate for help after his wife's death, had no idea that hiring this black nanny would ignite a storm of judgment from his own family, and that she was about to do something so powerful it would silence them all. After losing his wife to a sudden illness, Richard Hayes, a wealthy businessman known for his cold composure, and found himself drowning in grief and single parenthood. His 7-year-old twins, Chloe and Liam, had stopped sleeping, plagued by nightmares and a growing fear of being left alone. When his search for a nanny dragged on for weeks, Richard finally hired Naomi Johnson, a warm-hearted woman with years of childcare experience. But from the moment she walked through the ornate front door, the tension was palpable. The twins stared, their wide eyes reflecting both curiosity and unease. The housekeeper, Mrs. Carver, whispered that someone like her didn't belong in a home like this. Even Richard's wealthy relatives muttered about appearances. Naomi noticed the stares, the cold tones, the subtle ways people avoided touching her. But she said nothing. Every night, she tried reading bedtime stories, singing lullabies, even leaving a nightlight on, but the children would still cry for their late mother. Richard, exhausted, began to wonder if hiring her had been a mistake. What no one knew was that Naomi had faced far worse than gossip, and she had a plan that would not only win the twins' trust, but challenge every prejudice lingering in the Hayes household. On the 4th night, Naomi noticed a small, faded photo frame on the twins' nightstand, a picture of their mother holding them as babies. The children clung to it as though letting go would make her disappear forever. Naomi understood the pain of loss. Her own mother had passed when she was their age. Instead of tucking them into bed and leaving, Naomi sat on the floor beside them. She began telling a story, not from a book, but from her life. She spoke about a little girl with brown skin who was told she'd never be good enough, yet grew up to comfort children who had lost their way. Her voice was calm, her eyes gentle, and slowly the children leaned closer. Over the next few days, Naomi introduced small rituals, a dream jar where the twins would place notes about things they wanted to dream of, and a comfort blanket she knitted with them during the afternoons. Her efforts went unnoticed by Richard at first, but Mrs. Carver remained skeptical, muttering that kindness won't erase differences. One afternoon, while playing in the garden, Chloe tripped and scraped her knee. Naomi rushed over, tending to her gently while whispering, "Bravery isn't about not falling. It's about getting back up." Chloe smiled for the first time in weeks. Liam followed soon after, holding Naomi's hand without hesitation. But as the twins began to sleep peacefully again, a confrontation was brewing. Richard's sister, Margaret, came to visit, and her reaction to Naomi's presence would put Naomi's patience and dignity to the ultimate test. Margaret entered the nursery unannounced, just as Naomi was tucking the children into bed. Her sharp voice cut through the air. "Richard, I warned you. This is not the kind of influence they need." The twins froze. Naomi stood, her hands steady, her gaze unwavering. Richard stepped in, trying to calm his sister, but Margaret's words spilled out, veiled in politeness yet dripping with prejudice. She questioned Naomi's background, her methods, even implying that someone of her race couldn't understand how to raise children like ours. For a moment, Naomi considered leaving, but instead she knelt beside the twins and asked them softly, "Do you remember the story of the little girl who was told she wasn't enough?" The children nodded. Naomi smiled and said, "That girl is still here, and she will always be enough for anyone who needs love." Chloe turned to her aunt and said, "She makes us feel safe. Mommy would like her." Liam added, "She helps us dream again." The room fell silent. Margaret, flustered, muttered something under her breath and left. Richard, shaken, looked at Naomi with newfound respect. From that night on, Naomi was no longer the new nanny. She was family. The twins began sleeping soundly, their nightmares replaced by dreams filled with laughter and warmth. Word spread quietly among the staff and relatives. The black nanny who had been doubted, judged, and underestimated had done what wealth and status could not: heal a grieving family. Richard noticed changes in himself, too. He found patience where there had been frustration and openness where there had been suspicion. Months later, during a family gathering, Richard introduced Naomi not as an employee, but as the woman who saved my children. The same relatives who once looked down on her now greeted her with cautious smiles. Naomi didn't need their approval. The twins' hugs were all the validation she required. As for Margaret, she never apologized outright, but the next time she visited, she brought Naomi a small gift, a set of storybooks for the children. It was a quiet acknowledgement that sometimes the unthinkable thing isn't what people fear, but the love they never expected. The story leaves one question. For anyone watching, how many people have we misjudged simply because we never gave them the chance to prove us wrong?